You've probably heard the term before, but what exactly are nootropics? Well, nootropics are a class of drugs or chemical that are designed to enhance cognitive function. So that might be improvements to things like attention, memory, wakefulness, and even self-control. There are many different types of nootropics. Some are herbal, some are natural, some are synthetic. Some might be classified as food supplements, and some might be prescription drugs. Nootropics that you've probably heard of include things like ginseng, ginkgo biloba, and even creatine, which is now being lauded for its cognitive enhancing benefits. One of the most well-known and widely consumed nootropics is, of course, our friend caffeine. Now, caffeine doesn't really give you energy. What it does is it stops you feeling relaxed by actions on a neurotransmitter called adenosine. So in the brain, adenosine, when it binds to neural receptors, triggers a response that makes us feel calm and relaxed. It's an important part of going to sleep, in fact. When we take caffeine, caffeine enters our brain through the blood-brain barrier, and it actually blocks adenosine receptors, stopping adenosine, making us feel relaxed. As a result, we feel more stimulated, more active, and we see a reduction in fatigue. L-Theanine is a non-protein amino acid that's mainly found in green tea and also some species of mushroom. It can influence brain activity by crossing the blood-brain barrier and affecting local neurotransmitter levels. It's thought to promote relaxation without drowsiness and potentially enhancing focus and cognitive function. It seems to achieve this ultimately by increasing levels of calming neurotransmitters in the brain like GABA, serotonin, and dopamine, while also reducing the levels of the key primary excitatory neurotransmitter in the brain, glutamate. Now, I hear what you're saying. You're saying, listen here, Science Gimp, why would you think it's a good idea to combine a stimulant like caffeine with a relaxing agent like L-Theanine? Well, Mr. Person, there's a very good reason for the combination. Lots of emerging literature suggests that combining a relaxing agent like L-Theanine with a stimulatory agent like caffeine can actually help to curtail the jitters associated with that stimulating agent. So what's the short summary? Why exactly have we combined a relaxer and a stimulator in one lovely tasty chew? Well, the answer is that the calming and focus enhancing effects of L-Theanine can complement the often quite powerful stimulatory effects of caffeine, creating a slightly more balanced user experience and a more productive cognitive state. This synergy may be particularly beneficial for individuals who experience anxiety or jitters from caffeine. So we know from a fairly wide body of research that L-Theanine seems to have calming effects, and it does this primarily via actions on the calming neurotransmitters in the brain, so things like GABA, which is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. When GABA levels are high, we're typically relaxed and asleep. And L-Theanine boosts the levels of these neurotransmitters both in the brain and circulating. And a question I'm often asked is, well, is there a potential of taking L-Theanine and becoming drowsy? And the short answer seems to be no. So in the literature, even very large doses of L-Theanine don't seem to tip study participants into sedation or tiredness. What we tend to see at higher doses is a more pronounced anxiolytic effect, so a reduction in stress, a reduction in self-reported measure of anxiety, but we don't tend to see study participants fall asleep or report drowsiness or anything like that. So L-Theanine seems to be a potentially very useful addition to a supplement which contains caffeine. So it's going to, in theory, reduce the jitters for some people that they might find with caffeine consumption. And in general, the idea with L-Theanine, when you're consuming it regularly in appropriate doses, the idea is that you're setting the mind nice and calm. Caffeine and then come in, reduce your fatigue. So they're working in synergy to help balance your head to get things right. So whether that's gearing up for a high performance mental or physical task, caffeine and L-Theanine together are a very, very powerful combo.